Well, picture this if you will. Sunday afternoon, there was another big sporting event to come to the sports and entertainment capital of the world. I'm talking about Pickleball Slam 3. It's a Grand Slam pickleball event with some heavy hitters from the tennis world. Las Vegas' own Andre Agassi and Steffi Graf, along with former #1 in the world Andy Roddick, playing for a nice to clean $1 million payoff. Woo! And this is how the event was put together. 2 teams with 3 matches. Team 1, Andre Agassi, Steffi Graf, and Marty Fish versus Andy Roddick, Eugenie Bouchard, and the tall one, John Isner. Match 1 paired Agassi versus Roddick one-on-one, and that was very entertaining. And in that match, Agassi turned the clock back and was sharp. 2-0, Agassi wins this thing. Second match, Graf and Fish versus Bouchard and Isner. Team Agassi would win that one in 2-0 again. And then, in the third match that paired Agassi and Graf versus Roddick and Bouchard, this was a tight game, but it was won by Team Roddick, 2-1. So, for some reason and how they did all this little stuff, it went to a tiebreaker. And in that tiebreaker with rotating players, it was Team Agassi winning 1-0 and winning Pickleball Slam 3-2. After the game, I had a wonderful opportunity to catch up with Andre Agassi, Steffi Graf, and Andy Roddick to get their take on the world of pickleball. Here's a couple of them. I'm here with Las Vegas' own Andre Agassi, former #1 in the world, former tennis champion turned pickleball slam man. How about this? I mean, you've been playing, from all accounts, everyone says you're the man in this pickleball sport.
Well, no, listen, there's a lot of people way better, first of all. That's not even a question. And there's some tennis players that have gone over that are way better. But I'm just passionate about making sure that they're friendly and they can play nicely in the sandbox. Like tennis players don't need to be snobs or threatened by it. And pickleball players need to understand that tennis is the hardest racket sport in the world.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple.
Yeah, absolutely. How about this, bringing it to your hometown, to have the Pickleball Slam 3 here in Las Vegas? Like, how significant of an achievement is that for you?
Oh, I mean, it was a no-brainer. Once that was kind of in the mix, and talking with MGM and trying to put the pieces together to bring it to, our friends, our family, our community. Like, I just hope it continues. It belongs here on the Strip at least once a year.
1,000%, 1,000%. And Steffi was talking about the fact that she enjoys playing with you. That she says you take it a lot more serious than she does. I mean, that you've been playing for a little while, right? I mean, how much fun is it to play with your wife, to do this sport with your wife?
No, it's a lot of fun. And I had the luxury of watching her kind of come into it after me, so I got to see her progressions and how she processes and how she sort of makes herself kind of get better by certain repetitions, and so she sandbags how focused she is.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't accomplish what she has in life.
Absolutely.
So watching her come take the stride she has it's been a joy.
And I wonder about this about watching you out here. How taxing is this on your body? Because, I mean, you had some times when you were sprinting, the court's smaller, but it still seems like a lot of cutting back and forth and running.
Oh, there is. It's a lot more physical than you think. People watch it and they watch it played at maybe an older level or a casual level, but everything happens so quickly. That's the thing. So not a lot of court, but you have to react quick. So in tennis, you kind of move with the ball and then you explode through. And pickle, it's like urgent, and then you got to calm down.
Okay.
So there's a lot of physicality, and then you play on a court that's slower and lower and slower, and all of a sudden you're digging everything. So I'll feel it.
And last but not least, are we going to have this back here again next year?
Oh, I'm pushing for it, man. I'm pushing for it. A lot of things have to happen to make it happen, but I'm not persistent.
God. Andre Agassi, Las Vegas' own, the man, the myth, the legend. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate you, Andre.
Looking at so many familiar faces, it's been so much fun. I mean, we pretty much had the whole family here, tons of friends. We've tried to prepare for it the last few months, and a lot of people that we played with that came today as well, and that got us ready to compete today. So it's just special, being able to play in front of everybody.
How much different is this than tennis when you're out there playing on the court?
Oh, very. And it's a little daunting when you play, in front of such a big crowd, a sport that is still really new to us, and not totally familiar. It has a similarity with tennis, but especially with doubles and mixed, there's a lot of unlearning you have to do, a lot of patience that doesn't come natural to me from tennis. But it's been a great challenge, and I've been really enjoying it.
Some of those points, I mean, the back and forth, the volleys back and forth.
So quick. It's so hard to keep concentration because points go, you feel like you got the upper hand, and then 1 or 2 points, turn things around. And to keep the concentration on such a quick level is not easy.
Obviously, you've heard of pickleball for a long time. Could you ever imagine that it would be this big? I mean, it's on ESPN, having big tournaments, touring around the country.
You know what? When, especially in COVID, when we played more with family, I gotta say, we really enjoyed it that much, and we saw it pick up with everybody around us. So we kind of had a feeling, that it's gonna be a big sport because people love playing it, and it's socially, you're in a little closer, vicinity, so there's more interactions with each other, and it helps that there's so many hard courts in America, so it's easy to transfer it into pickleball courts, and so I think that helped the sport grow really fast, and it's been fun. It's been good.
I'm here with Andy Roddick. Obviously, you know who Andy Roddick is, playing pickleball, no tennis. First of all, what do you think about the whole event, the Pickleball Slam? To me, it's fantastic.
It's been fun. Listen, anytime I can spend an afternoon hanging out with my idols, and you get a workout in, pretty good stuff. Andre versus 2 years ago, you can tell that he's really spent some time and he loves this game. And even though it was at my expense, I was happy to see him play so well. And Steffi's just such a champion. It's just it's always great. It's weird that my childhood idols are now friends.
I know.
Yeah.
No, it's good to see the interaction between you guys out there. You look like you're having a whole lot of fun. As far as pickleball, like being a sport, like it's on ESPN. You've known, about the sport for a long time, but how big it's gotten in the last few years. You ever think that it would get this big?
Yeah, I'm not plugged in like the rest of the players who played a bunch, but listen, it's a friendlier barrier to entry than tennis. Tennis is intimidating. It's super hard. Tennis is Everest for racket sports, but there's plenty of space in the sandbox, right? Like people are on the downside of their tennis career. People are starting out. There's no fighting. It's obviously at the club level and as a participation sport, it has a lot of advantages.
I got you. And then to have this here in Las Vegas, like, what do you think about the crowd, the atmosphere? It looked like you're having a lot of fun despite, losing the match.
I was. I can have fun while being extremely stressed out, apparently. But listen, it was great. The crowd's so much fun. It's amazing that they've built this event, and it's the 3rd edition. I was in the commentary booth last year for it. I felt a lot more exposed today, actually having to be out there and not just talk about it, but it's been fun to have been involved twice.
Last one. Physically, how demanding is it? Because it seems like the court's smaller, but there's a lot of running back and forth. It seems like I can feel my joints aching when you guys are out there.
Yeah, we'll see. It's built on wood, so it gets the joints a little bit more, but that was the one thing I wasn't worried about. The movement was fine. It was more just the paddle skills, which I don't have. I don't play. I'm not. It's kind of been a life commitment for Andre, and you can see how good he is now and how accurate he is. And it was always going to be an uphill battle, but I had a great time.
Andy Roddick, former #1 in the world tennis icon here in the United States, man. I appreciate you.
Thank you. It's great to meet you.